There's an air. There is an air about them. There's a look about, let's just say you, whoever that is. There's a look. The eyes go down. The confidence is not there. The commitment is not there. And people know it. And people intuitively say no. Not because it's us, because of you. And people would intuitively say yes to me. Because they knew there was something behind this talk and this person and this commitment. Let me tell you something. You carry that aura with you and people see it. And you can try to fake it and hide it all you want, but you can't. And those the closest to you know it already. The ones you try to hide it from, they already know. And there's only one solution. And it's not more fakery. There's one solution, is marching in to what you're afraid of, to what you've never done, and come out the other side. And there is no guarantee. That's what makes a man. My middle son just got married to a wonderful, I'm so excited. You know, but I want my kids to be men, strong, capable, providers. And I said to him, Jordan, you're not going to be a man. You know how you become a man? Let me tell you how I become a man. When you wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and the weight of the world is on your shoulders and there's nobody that you can go to and you get in your stinking knees, you pray about it, then you get up and do it. That's when you become a man. We have a culture of people, a whole culture of people that won't do those kind of things. And I'm telling you, you're missing out on everything. I mean, you're missing out on everything. You don't know who you are. You don't know who God created you to be. You don't know what you were supposed to be because you didn't take the first little step that scared you a little bit. Every great man you've ever heard of or read about took steps where they felt alone and in midair. And they took the step and they came out the other side. I believe God sets it up that way. I do. Because you have to march through that. And if you choose that today, if you choose here today, that I want what Sharpe and these guys have. Not just the money, but the way they talk, the way they think, the way they act, the respect that people show them. I want that in my life. All you do is you just start recruiting somebody. You get up every morning and say, hey, I'm here. This is what I do. I love this Primerica. You got to come and take a look at what we're doing. It's not that hard. I'll go out with you, I'll work with you, I'll do whatever it takes. Yet, yes, I'm scared, but I'll do it anyway. See, people like you better if they think you're scared, but you face it. They'll like you more if they think you're afraid, but you face it. They'll trust you more if they see that in you. Somebody called me the other day and says, Mike, I've been on like 25 recruiting appointments, nobody will say yes. It's a good friend of mine here. I said, Tom, because they don't see you. You're giving them a presentation. It's getting rote. You don't show them who you are. Because the Tom that I know, I'd sign up within a minute. And so would a lot of it. So you can't just go out. There's no system, no plan that's going to make this work for you. It's you. You. And when you commit and you're determined and you know this is where you belong and when you will face the disappointments that will certainly come along here. There are many times when I got up in the middle of the night and paced and wondered if I could pull it off, wondered if I could do it. Why didn't these people come? How come the meeting wasn't big enough? Why can't I? Well, that's normal. But there was never anything in me that went, I'm not going to do this. Maybe I can get out of this thing. I knew way down deep. This is your defining moment, Mike. You do this, your life may be more, I could never imagine how my life turned out, but I knew what was going to happen if I didn't do it. It wasn't going to be pretty. I knew that. And I got news for you. It's the same for you. It's the same for you. It's not going to be pretty if you don't change your life, change your behavior, get committed, fall in love with us. Do you know how great we are? I mean, where else do you go to an office where people are going, how you doing, man? Hey, man, when's your next promotion, man? We love you, man. Where else does that happen in your regular job? No, it never will. This is the greatest opportunity in the world for people like you and me. May not be the greatest opportunity for some Harvard grad that's worth, but it is for you and me. And in the end, it's so much good. We talked to, I forget who told me this. There was some young gal who graduated, oh yeah, Mark just on, he may have told you this already, but this young gal that graduated top of her class at Tufts, did he say that thing already? Yeah. So when you graduate top of your class, you always get the first shot at getting hired with one of the big firms. You know? So she went down there and asked a few questions. She didn't get to own the business. She didn't get to call her shots. She turned the job down, which was going to be like 150 grand a year, and then just joined Primerica. Became an RVP, did 38,000 her last one. It's unbelievable. Wow. We're better. That poor guy that was interviewing her had been with the company for 25 years and was making 250 grand a year. She'll probably make it this year, year 3. And then you get a little sick or you get a little tired or whatever, you keep getting paid. You own the business. And people aren't going to follow someone that's not committed. Sooner or later, you got to deal with that full-time deal. You're not going to build a business making 2, 3, 4, 500 grand a year, part-time, fooling around with it, trying to catch Monday night football in between. Forget it. It doesn't work that way. You become consumed. There's a period, you know, Ecclesiastes says there's a time for everything. And there's a time for work. And there's a time for making money. The problem is most people let the time go by. We have the greatest country in the world, despite the fact that everybody feels like they're victimized by somebody. You're not. You're not victims. If you are, you're a victim of yourself. It's an attitude, approach to living. Get up. Last thing, recruit every day. Every day. Show your heart to people. Get out in the field. Just change your life. Make that decision today. And if you got to get with your spouse, and you got to go back to the room, and you got to get on your knees, that's what you got to do.
That's what you got to do.
Years ago, now I will add this a little bit to this, but I've been here long enough, I think I'll do this. Years and years ago, almost 30 years ago, I went down to Palm Desert by myself because I heard that people could pray and fast. And I went down there for 3 reasons. I prayed that God would send me a wife of His choice. I prayed that 3 old ladies would pray for me, that's true. And I prayed that I would be successful and could walk with kings and queens. I prayed for 3 days. Never did that before or since. And I had to come back to an appointment. So I left the hotel after just drinking water for all those days, came back and met somebody at Marie Callender's that I had an appointment with. And he happened to bring his daughter along, which was my wife, Barney, I met for the first time. Can you believe that? 2 hours after I left. Sunday night at church, 2 old twins from Lake Avenue came up and said, I know this sounds crazy, honey, but we want to pray for you. And the third one said, me too. So I had 3 people. She prayed for me for 30 years on a daily basis till she died at 102 years old. Wow. I built a big monument to him over at Lake Avenue. And I've been pretty successful. I believe that's from God. I don't ever want to walk out here letting anybody think that I think I have the skills and acumen and all that kind of stuff to be big in this business. But I had, I don't know what you call it, sense or whatever, to know that there is a God there that can help you through. He says to you, fear not. Don't be afraid. Every time he appears, he says, don't be afraid. So no matter what your belief structure is, or in whom you believe, that's one thing we all agree on. Fear is not good. Fear is to be marched through. And if you can't find it on your own strength, He'll give it to you, because that's what He wants. And what a great place to grow and change. And I hope you find it just like me, and I wish you the greatest of success.